All right, so let's go over these monuments for Agua Caliente. Gonna be a lot of moving parts, and I'll try to break it down into each individual thing, show you what's going on. Just try to follow along here. So, just a brief overview. We're gonna have a side A and a side B. This is kind of how it's broken apart. There's three of these signs, but everything's identical. So just keep everything kind of sorted through. So you'll have a side A main face, which is this guy here. And then you'll have a side B main face, which is the main face there. And then I'm calling these sidecars. They will be separate, so you'll have a side A sidecar. And that's going to get permanently mounted once you skin this, once you make this frame. Everything for side A, you'll mount that permanent. And then you'll have a side B sidecar. And then you're going to have a main middle box. That is how you're going to attach both of these in the field. Everything gets put together in the field. So that's how we'll go over that. So parts are breakdown as follows. So you'll have your middle box parts. So that's all in one page here. And you'll have different jigs for different sides. So everything's kind of broken up that because there's a lot going on with these jigs. We'll go over that. You've got your main face frame A, side A. Again, these are going to be the same on both sides, except they just are mirrored, so the parts are flipped. So, but keep an eye out. You got your side A, you got stuff that faces face, and stuff that faces to the back. These are definitely asymmetrical. You have more going on in the front because you have holes for face and stuff, as opposed to what's going on in the back. So you don't want to flip these. You want to make sure follow all of your faces and backs. And make sure you've got all your numbers and everything. So get everything nulled out, get everything bent, and then get it all sorted out so it all makes sense, like you guys do. And on your jigs, you'll have your different jigs from front and back, so it makes sense there. So same thing here. So you have B sidecars. They all fit in one page here, but you have your A and you'll have your B parts. Jigs are the same for both, so you're good there. Your faces, again, you'll have your face A and your face B, and make sure you get these side A and side B because the arrows will point into the property. You got your backers, and these are your light bars. You'll just bend those up. We'll go over that. You'll have your white on white for all your LEDs, and all the 1/4 inch for the plates for the mounting. So you'll have a main big base that you'll permanently mount the middle box frame to, just like similar to Subaru, and you'll have 2x4s running up the middle for a really strong frame, and then that will then mount to each pillar that's going into the ground. Your power box is similar to all the ones we do, so all your parts are there. There's only one per sign, so you're good to go. So the way they decided to do it is you'll have 3/4 inch clear push through. These letters here will then get white vinyl. According to Jim, these will get white vinyl on the front, but only to block light. And then you will be VHB slash, I don't know, silicone, these letters painted black to those. So they look like little tiny channel letters. So these will not get treated like the normal push through. This will stay clear because then you are going to glue this part with the logo that's that face lights, that digital print will then go on top of the clear here. So again, these letters are going to get painted black, so you do not want these letters directly attached to this because it's going to kill the glow. So you need to have white on these first. But anyway, so you're doing a push through, and then these are going to be like little letters that get attached to the face. The words entrance will be 1/2 inch clear acrylic, treated as normal. So do these like we normally do. They're just going to be white face with a translucent like we do. So only the top part letters will get treated differently. Okay, so that's all the layouts for the stuff. So first page here, side A work page. This is just to kind of get the layout. I broke out the side faces on the side A main face and side B main face work page, and then this is the middle box work page here. But the side A work page sort of was where I got started, and it's kind of where the power box is. So page 14 here. So you'll button this up, and when you're all said and done, these are going to be top flanges that you'll use to screw this to the sign. So when you're done, you'll have a nice package like this, and the switch will sit inside here. You can mount this plate to the front. This goes backwards, right? So it's indented, so the switch sits in, and then this will be a little top cover that you'll screw that on. That'll cover up the switch plate. That's up here, right here. So when you put that on, you'll have room to bring your primary in, but that'll seal that up. So that way it's like, you know, it'll be secure in there, and the power will be isolated. You'll have three holes down here on the bottom to bring power in, and then that'll be that. And then that right there will then attach inside. Once we're all done, it'll attach to here using number 10s, and it'll sit right in here, nice and dry. So that's where that'll be. That's the power box. Then what we're going to do is get on the side frames here, working our way through. So as you can see, the frames are asymmetrical, so the face of the frames is purely to deal with the faces themselves. So they have holes, cleco holes, in order to lords the seams shut. So you'll follow the faces there. You'll go ahead and put all those together, and you have jigs that are specific to the face. So all the face jigs, I went ahead and did chamfer corners. So as you sort all these out, find all these jigs that have the chamfers. That will be where all those go on the front, on the face. And then this is the actual face frame here, and I built it off the back. So this is the back side of the frame, and as you can see, it has a whole different thing going. So the back side of the frame is going to be where all the structural stuff goes, where we're going to use these holes here, 5/16 riv nuts, to attach this to the main box frame, the middle box work frame here. So yeah, so you can see where those will attach there. Those will be your 5/16 points, and then each face will stick out that much on both sides. So the middle box is skinnier than the actual main frame, so it gives it that look. So that's why that's why these have such big ears sticking out. That's the back box, the main middle box there is only gonna be about right there. So anyway, so these guys have their own jigs, and each of these jigs are rounded. So anything for the back side, look for rounded corners, rounded edges. All here is going to be rounded. And then they also have the riv nuts, holes in them. So this is where they're going to attach the riv nuts. So once you get this whole thing welded together, you're going to go through and you can squeeze in all your 5/16 riv nuts. Some of the riv nuts will only be in the 090 here, but I tried to put a lot of the riv nuts to grab also the jigs to have that extra strength. So as you're putting this together though, when you go to do the 1/4 inch, let's see where the 1/4 inch is here. 1 second. Let's do this the easy way. So go over here to the mount plates and lift points. So this guy here, look for these guys. Now the whole job is going to be done with 5/8 aluminum nuts. Not only does YJ want structural, want 5/8, but these are also the lift eyes that we have are 5/8 as well. So grab these guys and you're going to weld in a 5/8 nut, and then that'll take you to here where you're going to trap these inside these notches inside the frame here. So you want to make sure that as you put this together, you have these already done, and you trap them in there, and you're going to burn them in real good. So that way you'll burn them here, burn them to the jigs. That way when they lift these, because you're dealing with 3/4 inch push through plus 3/8 push through plus this sidecar, these probably won't be light. So I'm hoping that these will be enough to lift this thing. We'll see. But you know, putting these up into place, because you know, again, these are about 10 feet tall, so they're not going to be small. Anyway, so go ahead and make sure you don't get ahead of yourself. You want to weld those in. So get those set up straight away, and get those burned up, and that way you can trap them in there. So anyway, so that's kind of how it all goes together. Just look for your numbers, and your you know, number 1 goes here, number 2 here, all that. So match all your numbers, get everything all lined up good. And then once you have all this welded together, get your studs on and everything, then you can go ahead and lords this to this, and then get that all finished up. And then once this is all done, then you have matching holes here in this face for your sidecar. So then go ahead and do your frame for your sidecar, get that all done, and then you'll have access holes here that will allow you to lords and rivet and frap these guys right on here. So you can use these as clecos, lords it on, and then back through here just put some number 10s to just make sure these don't go anywhere. And then once that's on there, then you'll go ahead and lords on the face, and then this little guy, let me explain these. So you have these back panels that will have a dual purpose of both closing off the light. So you can see where this panel here, once you bend it up, 1, 2, 3, it's going to fit right in here. Now you can maybe just get away with just riveting this piece on if you want. I don't think you need to lords it. Either way, you make the call. But you'll see where that will cover up this hole here. So if we were to leave this like normal, the lights should be able to escape out here, and then you could have light leaks really bad. So this little panel here, this is on both of them, side A and side B. You'll go ahead and put that on, and then that also, though, these holes here, make sure you put this on the right way. There's really only one way to do it, but make sure you put it on the right way, and then that will be the cover for the electrical. So you'll break bend this, and then all of these holes will line up with these holes, and then that gives us closure like this here. So if you're looking at it from the inside, here's those panels, and then the power, that'll be the cover for the whole power operation. So that panel goes here, that bent L that you make, and then you'll frap that on there. So that way you get like a 1-inch reveal sticking out. So that way we don't have to worry so much about seams lining up perfectly and everything, because we're already sort of having that look around where it's sort of like stacked up. So this will be where the power lives right there. But that's how you're going to create that little part is off the backs of the sidecars is where the power will live there. So put these faces on, put this on, put that face on, and then that should be good for that whole system. So do that for side A and side B. You know, they're the same, just mirrored. But again, just make sure you get your jigs laid out, get the right ones for the right sides. You got your backs, you got your fronts, and just get all your parts and pieces, and just watch the F's and the B's and make sure everything's facing the right way. Then that way everything will line up. And then when you go to do your push throughs, once you're all finished up, you'll be able to like maybe set this up on some sawhorses, and you can come in from underneath. That's the whole idea about making these faces completely removable, as not only will this thing be a beast once all of it's together, but that way install can take it over there and you can work, you know, more easily. So you'll be reaching through here to get into there to get those push throughs. So that's how that'll work. Side B, like I say, same thing, just mirrored. So the middle box, so there's a lot of moving parts here. So same thing, you have all your jigs, but these jigs are having multiple functions. So these jigs here, these will be the holes that will be where you'll bring in your 5/16 hardware to bolt the faces. The install will be doing that, but you'll see where you have access all the way around, top, bottom, and both sides. That will allow access to these nuts and bolts here. So they should be able to reach their hands up in here, reach in here, and get these bolts and nuts attached as best they can to the faces there. And then once that's all set, you know, that's how they'll access that. So you'll make this like a normal frame, put the bottom on it, put the sides, put everything good to go. And like I say, you'll have top, bottom, and side skins. Now the jigs for the power, or for the LEDs, you'll see where these jigs here have multiple functions. So these guys are coming out here, and then you're going to bend it, and then this will be sticking out, and that's going to hold up the LED mounts, kind of like over here I have them drawn. So this is where I'll spit. So once that's bent, you'll bring in your LED trays through these big openings here, and then you'll just hook them in, and they're on both sides, so it's a double-sided sign. You'll just hook them in there. So that's these guys here. So you'll see where these guys have little nubs. These nubs will lock in and keep them from sliding left to right, and they'll sit inside those little hooks that that'll be part of the jig system. So you can see where that's where those nubs will be. So you have a little bit of play. Anyway, so that's why it's important to make sure that these jigs are bent and then facing the proper way. Obviously, they want to be facing into the main box. So when you go to weld these on, make sure they're facing into the box so that way they're ready to receive the LED tray holders there. And these guys can just be riveted on. And then once you have all these on there, and once you're all said and done and you're ready to assemble this, make sure you make your blue, just use the blue wire and collect all that. Make sure it's long enough to get all the way through to here. So make some long leashes, snake them through, and on both sides there. And then this little power sidecar here, it's pretty straightforward. It'll just mount to the side here, here, and here, and it'll stick out, and that'll give them a place to put the power supply. So the power supply box, make it make it removable. So you're just going to frap it directly to here, and then that gives us access. And then these will be open holes here, and then they'll bring in their primary here and here, and that'll give them access here. So pretty straightforward there. Now, so once you have this frame all done, and then these guys here, you want to make sure you bend those up properly and put those in the right direction facing in, and then that is where the structural part will slide in. So we've got 2x4s that are going to be sliding in there, and then you're going to burn those in real good here, and you're going to burn them in here, and then this also will give you a chance to burn them in here and here. So you'll be connecting these 2x4s all along here to these crossbar members. So that'll give it structure. So now that gets us to the 1/4-inch plate down here, this whole system. So what you're going to end up having is a 1/4-inch plate system here with some holders that you're going to slide in the 2x4, and then you're going to burn that in real good, and then that'll give you 2 skewers there. So similar to what you did with Subaru, is in this area, we're going to be moving the structural little parts to the outside, and we're going to create a no-fly zone where there's no welding at all in this internal area. So like this long guy here will go here like it normally does. That is fine for, let's see where we are. Yeah, here we go. So in this area here, we're going to have no welding inside at all. Keep your welding to the outside all along here, okay? All along in here, outside to this side, right? This side, fine. You can weld all in here, whatever, no problem. But within here, you make sure you do not weld on the inside, because this guy here has to tuck in, right? So our stanchions are going to tuck in. So all the structural welding needs to be the outside, not to the inside of that. So can't be more stressful about that. Make sure all that is only welded to the outside on any of that. So once you have this guy all kind of made up, then you're going to take these top parts and weld it to the top, and then that's going to create the receivers for the 2x4. So you'll burn those in real good. And like I say, this is very similar to what we did on Subaru, right? Now you can choose whether or not you want to put the frame on to just this part first. And because what I'm thinking is I did big clecos here. And so you're going to Lords this on to the 1/4-inch plate, base plate here. And if you want to go ahead and, I mean, this will be all like as part of the frame. So you'll make this whole frame. So you could either choose to just work with this 1/4-inch by itself and Lords it to the bottom here. Then I left the top open, and if you want, you can then slide these in and jam them in here, then burn it and burn it and burn it, after you get this on. Or if you think it's better to go ahead and weld these on first, and then put this on its side and skewer it in, and then burn it, but then you'll Lords these on and then just skewer it all as one. I'll leave that up to you, whatever you think works. But like I said, I left the top open here, so you can come in from the top and slide these through after, if you think that's better, after you Lords this on if it's easier to Lords this on, or lay this on its side and Lords this and slide the whole system in after you weld these on. So again, I'll let you choose on that, whatever you think works. But otherwise, you'll have your normal two stanchions per sign that go in the ground. That's a 70-inch tube here, the usual 4x4x1/4, and so that'll be that. Again, 5/8 nuts though, so I ordered in some, but look for it. So, and then the other part will be the lift point for this if they need it. I'm not expecting this to be super heavy, but with the LEDs and everything in there, it might be. So this will just be a quick and easy lift point. So you're just going to take a piece of 2x2. You'll probably just cut it to roughly this size ish, but you'll just get it to where it sits in there, and then just burn it in to the crossbar here. You'll see where, like here, I have it across, and just keep it out. Obviously, keep it out of the way of the push through here, and just pick a point here and just burn it real good all the way around, and then they can come in through the opening with their strap, and that'll give them a lift point for this box if they want to do that, if they don't want to just carry it to the pillars. So that'll be the lift point for that. So don't forget that. Yeah, so like I say, these guys here, just watch those jigs, bend them up, and just make sure they face into the box. So that way you have your hooks. For LEDs, since these, like I discussed earlier, these are going to have like a separate layer of acrylic glued to them. So these will actually be acting a little differently than entrance, because that is this will be more of just our normal vinyl face push through. But these sidecars are going to be an extra 4 inches out. So I don't know if it's worth putting more LEDs. I don't think this needs to be brighter, but essentially these LEDs will be closer to 4 inches away, and these will be closer to 7 to 8 inches away, which really shouldn't make that much difference. But if you think there will be a difference, just a word of advice is that, entrance will be farther away from the LEDs than the rest of these. But like I say, these will actually kind of look different than this, so I'm not sure it'll make much difference. But if you want to bunch up the LEDs on this, I don't know. I did a quick estimate, and I think it's easier to just go ahead and do 2 power supplies. Just do 1 circuit for one face and 1 circuit for the other. That way we also fail safe. If one power supply goes out, the whole sign's not dead. So that way at least we have one side working. But I think that should do it. Again, it's all rivet. So yeah, obviously if you have any questions, hit me up. But just important thing is just get everything routed, get everything sorted, and then just start breaking it down part by part. I think that should do it. If you have any questions, hit me up.